your typical ballet story, the guy who wants to get the girl, she's a maiden by night and a swan by day in Stanton's version. And so the prince is supposed to be getting married and finding somebody to marry, and his mother is very much like, you need to find somebody to, you're at the age of getting married. And he's sad because he hasn't found true love, I guess. So he decides to go hunting, like most guys do, and he goes into the forest at night, and he sees this maiden. And in Stanton's version, he sees this maiden who's mysterious, and they dance together, and he finds love. But then she goes away, and then she becomes a swan, and he goes back, or over the course of time, he sees her as a swan, and he realizes that she's a swan by day and a maiden by night.
For the ballerina, the most challenging, or one of the most challenging parts, is the portrayal of being a bird, being transformed into a swan, and yet still maintaining your human side, your femininity. That's in the white swan part. The challenge, of course, with being the black swan is then to find the balance of having been the good person to find the evil within yourself, and then the technical challenge that is demanded from the choreographical side of the black swan.
It's one of those ballets where the first time you do it, it's probably not going to be your best go. And for me, I think back at that time, and I was definitely like a baby swan, just learning how to open my wings, I guess, for the first time. And the beauty of being able to do it multiple times is, over time, I think you finally figure out how to truly become the swan, all-encompassing in your dancing.
The memory that I hope people will take home with them is the exquisite beauty that a company can achieve in performing such a historical work today, something that has lived on for so many years and is still modern, or still an up-to-date story. Yes, it is a fairy tale, but there are many aspects of humanity.
It really is love. And I had a coach actually coach me one time, and we were working on the white swan pas de deux when he discovers the swan and they start to dance together for the first time, and how love, actually, the way he said it was, love encompasses all of the emotions. There's fear, there's joy, there's unsureness, there's forgiveness. And I think that Swan Lake really does kind of exemplify or exude those emotions. There's deception with the black swan, there's passion with the white swan, and between he and the prince and the white swan. And then in the end, there's forgiveness. Love, true love, is very forgiving, and she forgives him, and in the end they do live happily ever after, and it's one of those feel-good stories that I think a lot of people can relate to in one way or another.